The man to whom I'm going to introduce you to was not a Scrooge. He was kind of decent, mostly good man, generous to his family, upright in his dealings with other men. But he just didn't believe all that incarnation stuff the churches proclaim at Christmas time. It just didn't make sense, and he was too honest to pretend otherwise. He just couldn't swallow the Jesus story about God coming to earth as a man. "I'm truly sorry to distress you," he told his wife, "but I'm not going to church with you this Christmas." He said he'd feel like a hypocrite, that he'd much rather just stay home. Shortly after his family drove away in the car, he was sitting in his recliner watching the news. A forecast of snow flurries was predicted.
I know it's been cold at points so far. It's actually going to get a lot colder over the next couple days. The coldest air that we've had so far this season is on the way over the next few days, and you are going to know it.
Minutes later, he was startled by a thudding sound. Then another, and then another. Sort of a thump or a thud. When he went to the front door to investigate, he found a flock of birds huddled together. They'd been caught in the storm, and in desperate search for shelter, he had tried to fly through his large picture window. Well, he couldn't let the poor creatures lie there and freeze, so he remembered the barn where his children stabled their pony that would provide a warm shelter if he could direct the birds to it. Quickly, he went outside. He opened the doors wide and turned on a light, but the birds did not come in. He figured food would entice them in, so he hurried back to the house, fetched breadcrumbs, making a trail to the lighted, wide-open doorway of the stable. But to his dismay, the birds ignored the breadcrumbs and continued to flap around helplessly. He tried catching them. He tried shooing them into the barn by walking around them, waving his arms. Instead, they scattered in every direction. And then he realized that they were afraid of him. To them, he reasoned, "I am a strange and terrifying creature. If only I could think of some way to let them know that they can trust me, that I am not trying to hurt them, but to help them." But how? Because any move made tended to frighten them, confuse them. They just would not follow. They would not be led or shoot because they feared him. "If only I could be a bird," he thought to himself, "and mingle with them and speak their language. Then I could tell them not to be afraid. Then I could show them to the safe, warm barn. But I would have to be one of them, so they could see and hear and understand." At the moment the church bells began to ring, the sounds reached his ears above the sounds of wind. And he stood there listening to the bells declaring the glad tidings of Christmas, and sank to his knees.